A patient came to see me. Her stomach was just like a drum. At first I thought, "Are you sure you're not pregnant?" She said, "I've been on a fruit diet, a juice diet, for half a year now." Actually, not even a fruit diet, but a juice diet. And in this video, we're going to discuss diets that are not just unhelpful, but can actually lead to very serious consequences. So be sure to watch this video until the end to understand which direction you need to take. What happens at first when you, choose some kind of diet, right? You start it and you begin to feel good. Okay, if you eat meat 3 times a day and then cut back to eating it just once a day, or even better, say every other day, or cut it out completely and suddenly you start feeling better? Well, of course. First of all, eating too much meat causes fermentation and putrefaction in the body, especially when meat is combined with sweets. We create perfect conditions for fermentative dyspepsia. If you remove one component, of course the body reacts like, "Wow, that's great, awesome." That's why fasting exists, right? When all meat products are eliminated and a person starts fasting, they really do begin to feel better after a while. If you've ever fasted, no matter what denomination or religion you follow, give this video a like. Let's keep going. And by the way, I often notice, for example, when meat is removed from the diet, I say, "I start to feel better and my stool stops smelling." It's all very simple, my friends. There are 2 substances called cadaverine and putrescine, which are exactly what give off that very smell of hydrogen sulfide that we notice when we pass gas, or go to the bathroom. When you remove them, the smell of stool really does change. You really do start to feel better. For some people, this might take a month or 2, for others, 3. And if you stick to what's called a monocomponent diet, that is, one that includes only 1 or 2 products, or even 3, you deprive your microbiome of variety, and it's the microbiome that produces a huge number of different micronutrients and vitamins. For example, 30% of all vitamins are produced by the microorganisms that live inside our bodies, in our intestines. I actually provide links, articles, and descriptions for these articles, so be sure to check it out and subscribe. I'll be happy to welcome every new subscriber. Another important point, which at some point was a revelation for me, is that our oral cavity all the way to the anus is actually an external part of our body. It's just like our skin, only it's turned inward. Just imagine, the entire digestive tract is an external part, colonized by various microorganisms that either work for our benefit, do nothing, these are the so-called commensals, or they parasitize us, or are opportunistic pathogens that in fact cause irreparable harm, a slow but steady damage to our health. And so, when we start using some kind of monocomponent diet, whether it's a juice diet, a pomegranate diet, a carrot diet, we simply kill off those very microorganisms that participate in maintaining balance and thanks to which our health is supported. The next diets are extremely low-calorie diets, which start, first of all, I honestly don't really understand why we need to count all these calories. There are completely different principles for how our bodies work. At this point, you stop receiving extremely, vital microelements or micronutrients, which can lead to fainting from hunger, sleep disturbances, cardiovascular dysfunction, and which can, right here and now, cause such serious consequences as, for example, a myocardial infarction or the development of ischemic heart disease. The very trendy no-carb keto diet. I agree that in some situations, yes, it might be possible to try it, but only under very strict medical supervision. So what's the point? The idea is that if you completely eliminate carbohydrates, our body starts to get energy from fats. There is some truth to this, there is a point, but again, factors like our microbiome, for example, are not taken into account. Our microbiome loves long-chain carbohydrates. It loves those long-chain carbs that are found in large quantities. Where? In greens, in vegetables, which absolutely must be present in the diet, and along with them, there should also be grains. If in the summer we start eating tangerines brought from who knows where, then apart from fructose, we get nothing good from these tangerines. And consuming large amounts of fructose is also not good. And you need to understand that, for example, if you eat 250 grams of tangerines, you're getting about 12 teaspoons of sugar. Can you imagine? Just a quarter of a kilogram of tangerines, that's something a child could eat at once. That's basically like taking 12 teaspoons of white sugar and just consuming them straight. What happens then? It's just an explosion of everything, an explosion of all systems. The systems say, give me more sugar, faster. That's how our bodies work. We can't resist it. That's why you need to approach this wisely and understand that if you've been eating poorly your whole life and then switch to a keto diet, all your organs and systems could suffer seriously. So I'll be honest, I am categorically against no-carb diets, but not all carbohydrates are the same. Refined sugars, yes, throw them out. Just get rid of them completely for life and make sure they're not even anywhere near you. As for berries and vegetables, yes, and as for fruits, again, within reasonable limits, without juicing them, without removing the fiber, because nature is wise. It designed things so that, for example, you have an apple, eat it whole, and you'll feel full, right? How many apples can you really eat? 2, maybe 3 apples, and that's it. But if you decide to process apples into juice, you remove all the pectin, you remove all the fiber, and you take away what naturally loosens our stool. That which provides nourishment in turn to our good beneficial microorganisms. You're just loading up on fructose, which hits your liver even harder than alcohol. Next, yes, I also do extreme cleanses. Oh, I had one client, she came to see me. She said, I've had diarrhea for about 3 weeks now, but my nutritionist told me that's good, that it's just the cleansing process. I have bad news for you. That's not cleansing, it's called dehydration. In other words, the person is losing a huge amount of water, and with that water, electrolytes are being washed out. My friends, that's not how it works. We live in a micro world, and we need to be in balance with those very parasites. We need parasites for one simple reason, because they participate in immune responses. But here, you shouldn't take my words out of context, right? There should be a certain percentage of them, it can't be otherwise. So, for example, when you accidentally eat a strawberry from the garden, you might ingest, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, or even 10 of some kind of giardia. And here the question is different. How do your systems work? How does your gallbladder react? How does your gastric juice respond? If at this time you are taking something like omeprazole, a proton pump inhibitor, because you think you have high acidity, or if your gallbladder isn't functioning properly, of course this pathogen will enter, settle in, and endlessly demand these digestive juices. And then, whether you do these cleanses or not, you won't achieve anything good. You will severely deplete your microbiome, and as the saying goes, nature abhors a vacuum. Those very pathogens, those very parasites, will come to take its place, only in tenfold numbers. As a result, this will lead to the development of a huge number of chronic diseases, ranging from eczema on the skin to headaches and chronic fatigue syndrome. And I'm not even mentioning bloating and everything else. That goes without saying when there are obvious problems with the gastrointestinal tract. By the way, I once published an article in my Telegram channel a while ago about the extraintestinal manifestations of giardiasis infections. It shows that even after getting rid of giardia, that is, reducing their pathogenic load, symptoms can persist for several years. In the end, yes, just understand that you should never go to extremes. The truth, as they say, is somewhere in the middle. The truth lies in our balance. In the balance of all our organs and systems from the perspective of biochemistry, biomechanics, and psychology. If among your acquaintances or friends there are those who are fond of various diets, who are always trying something new, searching for themselves, just take and share this video with them. Let them watch it. I think that if a person is educated, intelligent, yes, reasonable, a reasonable person, they will see this grain of common sense and the cause and effect relationships that I am talking about here, the entire logic that I am conveying to you through this video.